dear friend.
Let's discover more of who we are together.
Love, Haley and Amanda.
Hey, dear friends.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.
I'm Amanda.
I'm Haley. And
we're the Dear Friend podcast hostesses with the mostesses.
And we really do have the mostesses
Oh
people.
my gosh. We have two women on here, our guests today.
They're actually a trio, but one.
We got two of them, yeah.
Yes, because they are the women of Bahay, Dallas.
Filipino pop-up experience.
You can't imagine what you're about to get into.
I just want to say, for me personally, this conversation was really inspiring. Their energy, and there's something about, it's these three Filipino women coming together to run this business. We had two of them here, but the energy around like women working together on like a passion project and their creative energy around it, I just felt like their hearts and like their passion and everything they've got going on in this project ignited me in a new way.
Yes.
And it made me feel excited about my own personal stuff going on. So I really am excited for everyone to listen to this episode because I think it will have the same effect on you.
Yeah, because the truth is, it doesn't matter, and we say this so much, it doesn't matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what your job is, what your career is. It doesn't matter what topic you're discussing. But when you have a clear why behind what you're doing, that focused energy, and then you have that conversation, it ignites you.
Yeah.
So no, we're not pumped to go out and
make
Filipino food, but we're pumped to do what we care about.
Yeah.
And so the Young Pueblo quote that we align our whole podcast around, which we should have, I bet we do have it memorized.
A conversation with a dear friend.
Yes.
Is sometimes
the exact
nourishment you need to regain clarity,
get back up,
go back out into the world,
and face your mission with a new and focused energy.
We almost have it fully memorized.
I know.
I love
We're
it.
going to get it.
Yes. And so
it's so true, though.
And in this conversation with them, that happened for me and you. And it will happen for you, I believe. And they are the giggliest.
Yes.
Funnest.
They say cackle.
Yeah, they
cackle
like to cackle.
Energy.
We really enjoy this conversation. We know you will too. So just a little bit about them before we jump in. Like we said, they have this Filipino food pop-up, and it is called Bahay. And it is in Dallas, Texas. And if you want to follow them on Instagram, we're going to have all this in the show notes. But it is Bahay Dallas.
Bahay.
I'm sorry. Bahay.
Bahay.
Why didn't you correct me the first time?
You kind of said it scared, and so I couldn't actually tell which way you went.
Yes, sorry.
You were like, Bahay.
I did both. But you spell it Bahay.
Which means
Dallas.
actually home, and I'm
Filipino.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's their story is beautiful. We jump into them as business owners, how they started, how it's going, how it's being a woman of color in this industry.
Kind of taking a different route than just, boom, we're opening a restaurant.
Yeah, they've been really innovative and creative. I think you're going to love it. I loved it.
And it's about community and food and breaking barriers and connecting with people in an authentic way, which is what we really care about.
Yeah. Why don't we do our pledge real quick before we jump into the conversation?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United Mates in America, and rarely in public is where we stand, one friendship, under God, indivisible, live purdy.
You hear?
Okay. And just us for all. And today it is not just us, like we said. We have Sarah Ranola
and Paloma from Oklahoma.
And their other partner, Denise, who is prepping for their food, is not here today. But we're so excited to jump in this conversation with them. We hope you enjoy it. We want to hear your feedback. You've got to follow them. If you're in Dallas, you've got to go to one of their pop-ups. Their food's incredible.
The dinners.
And enjoy it. So, It's Bahay.
Bahay.
Like Bahay.
Like, take your food.
Bahay. Bahay.
Y'all got it.
Okay, so first off, before we get started into y'all and your goodness, let's talk about how we met and know you, and then how y'all met and know each other.
Yeah. Perfect.
A bunch of this. So Sarah Renola, which every time I see you, I say your full name.
Yep.
Right. Same with you guys.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I met you when you were working at local Press and Brew
Correct.
in Oak Cliff.
I don't know why this memory is so like vivid and clear to me of our meeting because it was like one of the best memories.
I don't know it. I want to know.
But what's weird is also, yes, you and I probably encounter a lot of different people all the time, but it's also very clear to me the moment we met.
Well, and like she came home and was like, I met Sarah Renola today. And I was like, whoa, who is this?
I would love to hear your recount.
All right. So, just a normal day at local. This wonderful person walks in. Was most likely a iced vanilla latte with oat milk.
Oh,
most likely.
Oh my God.
Did I get it?
No.
basic
I can't even drink coffee.
I thought you were making a joke. A pumpkin spice latte.
Should have went with that one.
I take back wanting to hear your recount.
First day of
My
fall.
barista days have been very long ago.
Okay.
I get drinks mixed up all the time. But anyways,
She thought she had you
I
pegged.
I guess it wasn't a very vivid memory.
And rewind.
Rachel, right?
It started out so sweet and it's getting ruder and ruder. But
Okay, let's go back to a wonderful person walked in.
I made whatever drink it was. And then I called your name and it was Amanda Page. And I said, Amanda Page, your drink is ready. You came up to me and I said, that is the whitest girl name I've ever heard. And that was it. We were bonded forever.
And then did you say, what's your name?
yes, and she said Sarah Renola, and I said that is the least white name I have ever heard.
And now
You said that to her face?
Yeah.
Yes, she told me that, and so that sparked like friendship immediately.
Bonded for life.
We exchanged numbers, and I like invited you to a show or something like immediately right after that.
Yeah.
That Haley and I had or something. So from that moment on, it was like connected. But also, Dallas is a big city, and yes, I've run into people I've met before, but I run into you a lot. The universe is like, Sarah Renola is gonna be in your life.
I love that. Don't you? Yeah, I also appreciate how every time we encounter each other, it's Amanda Page Walker
name
and
basis.
Haley Ryan.
Yeah.
Every time.
Every time. It's
Yeah.
never,
Name
hey
basis.
Amanda, hey Haley,
No,
hey
that's
Sarah.
not it. That's not our
Sarah
friendship.
Renola. And I know you're coming from a mile away if I hear Amanda Page Walker.
And sometimes, because you're working at, I don't know if you still are, but you were working at Fount for a little while.
Right.
And anytime I would call and you'd be like, is this Haley Ryan?
On the phone.
Is this
like,
Sarah Renola?
I know her
Hear her
voice. I'm like,
voice.
Haley Ryan.
So that is how we met, and it's pretty
it's
good.
stuck,
I love
yeah.
it. It's stuck. And then how did you guys meet?
We
And
actually
what's
have
your
a
last
kind of
name?
Yeah.
Hanahan. Paloma Hanahan.
Paloma from Oklahoma.
Paloma from Oklahoma.
Paloma
That's true,
Hanahan
too.
from Oklahoma. I love it.
Paloma Hanahan. That's it.
Paloma Hanahan.
We kind of have a similar story, though. So, I was working at the Jewel at the time, and
Love the Jewel.
yes,
so
I
much.
miss it every day. I left last year, but I was wanting to get into like more Filipino food. I grew up eating it, but ever since moving from Oklahoma, it just wasn't around in Dallas, right? And I had seen an ad on Instagram for Hella Lumpia, which was her original pop-up at the time. So I was like, oh, it's from like 12 to 2. And so I like rolled in at 1:30, like feeling good. And she was like, we're sold out of everything except for this one thing. And I was like, whatever you have, I'll take it. And I was just kind of checking out their pop-up system at Bishop's Trinity Cider, right? And so she brought the food out to me herself, and I was like, "Hi, I don't know if you need help, but I've worked pop-ups before, and I would be happy to help you out on the weekends if you need."
And I was like, "We need help,"
because I just saw 3 of them just like bustling around.
Paloma
back
from
there.
Oklahoma, we need help. No, that is the least white girl name I've ever heard.
You're in.
We exchanged numbers, and I put her in my phone as Ate Sarah, which is like an honorific for your older sibling in Tagalog. So I was like Ate Sarah, and I was like, she's never gonna call me. You know, I was like so weird and like fangirly about it. I was like, if you need any help, I'd love to help you. So she was
Weirdo.
like, yeah, absolutely. No, I thought
You're
for
like,
sure.
Bahay.
I thought that was the last I was going to hear of her. And then literally the next weekend, she was like, yo, we have a pop-up. Are you available?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, absolutely. So I came to help her out, and it was am I allowed to say
Yeah.
shit show?
I'm like, yeah.
There's no other way to describe it, honestly. Yeah.
It was so terrible. But we were in it, and I was like, okay, well, I have some post-shift notes if you want to hear them.
Post-shit.
I'm no longer a fangirl. I've got post-it notes.
Post-shift notes. And so we met after the pop-up, and I was like, these are all the things that I would change for the next one. This is what I would do to make it more seamless. And then I kind of became her operations person ever since then.
That.
But we also realized that we had met when I was working at the Dallas Yoga Center years ago at Clyde Warren Park for yoga in the park on Saturdays. And I had met her and Mia like years before.
My dog Mia.
So the universe was trying to bring us together.
Sarah Renola,
You're a magnet.
universe is like, here's your people looking out.
Yeah, man, you attract your vibe.
You attract your tribe.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So you started out as a fangirl, and now you're head of operations for this. It's incredible. And I want to get into y'all's more into this story, but I have so many questions. So first off, you started wanting to pursue Filipino food in Dallas, which it is kind of surprising for such a big multicultural, metroplex. Like, it's one of the biggest metroplexes in, the United States that Filipino food really is underrepresented. And so why, well, first of all, for you, like, why food? Has that always been the story? Why Filipino food? Why Dallas? I want to kind of hear about that.
Sure. Yeah. Why food? Food has always been it for me.
Yeah.
I was that kid that kind of strayed away from, even Paloma too. Like, it's common to be in the medical field or basically a nurse if you're a Filipino. So I definitely identified as the black sheep in the family because I wanted to study the arts and really pursue it. So when I didn't pursue law school after getting my bachelor's degree in political science and told mom and dad, hey, I want to cook. They were a little shocked, but they were, as soon as I graduated, they saw how much I was thriving and how much happier I was. So that's basically why. Yeah.
So it was always, you always want to get in the food industry.
Mm-hmm.
So after college or during college, you were just working industry jobs wherever you could?
Yeah, cafe shops. This basically every job I've ever done was in the industry. So service is like my jam.
Yeah, you're very good at it. You tell people insults about their names right when they get there.
It comes so naturally.
We're connecting.
Break those walls.
Look at where we are now.
No, it worked. It worked.
Can you think of a time when you had a first, almost like an aha moment with food, like an experience that was like, boom, like, this is it. I know this is meaningful for me. This is my thing.
I mean, it sounds so cliche, but another vivid memory with my mom is just her teaching me how to make these dishes that were passed down from her mom. So that was, I hold on to that so dearly. Yeah. And I think that's why we as a team, we're sharing our stories, and it's so important for us to have Filipino food available in DFW. Yeah.
Well, and as an attendee of your pop-ups, the food's incredible. And I have never been exposed to Filipino food until your Filipino food, which isn't that crazy that the only Filipino
first
food I've
time you
ever
had
had is yours.
That's
And
crazy.
what's even crazier is it's so much better. Like we are just making our version of it, right? But like true Filipino food, like from the home, like from an auntie or uncle is like, it's nourishment. Yeah. So you're just tasting one side of it, but it's so complex and has so many more layers of meanings and flavors too. Like you're just getting started. You're just at the tip.
Which is
you're
cool.
just at the tip.
So
Oh, man.
you guys, well, first off, so you had started, what was the original name of?
We were Hella Lumpia first.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what did that mean?
Lumpia.
So lumpia is a very popular Filipino snack. It's essentially a spring roll. Family members fight over it at the party because it's the first food to go. So hella lumpia because that's what we made. Hella amounts of lumpia.
Hello,
very
I was like, you went from hello to Bahay?
Yeah, we got confused a lot. Like a lot of people were calling us Hello Lumpia, like Hello Kitty, and I was like, no,
Hella.
Hella.
Put a little respect on it.
And yeah, that was us at first.
So this is a big question that we were talking about. There's a lot of different ways to enter the food industry, and you guys have chosen to do these pop-ups. Can you kind of explain to us like why that avenue? Why did you pick that way of presenting your food instead of just opening up a restaurant?
And you're doing pop-ups and these dinners, like these exclusive dinners. Are those the same in your mind, or are they two different
avenues?
Yeah, and tell us about that difference.
You want to take this?
Yeah, well, I think Bahay was kind of a natural progression from Hella Lumpia, which was Sarah's, and then Bilal was Denise's original pop-up.
We joined forces.
So yeah, over the pandemic, it kind of made sense to stick with that pop-up style just because we could do it at different places all over DFW and then make it as contactless as possible during, that's when things were like, everyone was hyper aware, right?
Yeah.
So it was a natural way to showcase our food, but also keep everyone safe and still, when we were working, we could do both at the same time. But then, when the pandemic happened, it was perfect for us to just like dig into a project together, a passion project. And then I think it was very successful. But
it was.
The pop-up kind of hustle it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
And we really wanted to kind of veer into the catering private dinner world. Yeah. And that's how the Kamayans were born. But, even now it's kind of hard to find places that can host us for dinners. So pop-ups are still like
there.
Yeah, it's what we know and can do really well and easily.
I think it's brilliant. Like I love, it feels really creative and stretchy and it's like, because we think obviously, like most people, food and gathering around a table is just where you have the best connections and you just have the best conversation.
That's
and
what it's about,
it's one of my favorite places to be is around a table.
Yeah.
And so I love the private dinners that you guys are doing and it kind of feels exclusive.
It does.
And like
a
who
more
are you going to meet?
and more familial,
Yeah.
And then like seeing you guys' pictures, because I also want you to tell like, when you do these dinners, you're posting these pictures of the food. Just kind of tell us about the presentation of your specific food and like the interactive quality of it.
Yeah, the Kamayan dinners have been such a dream of ours to do, and we carefully navigated how to do them safely post-pandemic time. So we're glad to be able to operate the way we do now. As far as the Kamayans, our intention for it is to educate and to we call it like a crash course in Filipino food. So everything that's laid out on the table, no plates, no utensils. These are foods that we grew up eating. These are foods that you would typically find at any Filipino house party or social gathering. So we're basically showing you like, hey, like this is how we eat.
Yeah.
Like please enjoy.
Yeah. And kamayan means by hand. So there's no utensils, maybe to serve food, but as far as like your eating tools, it's just your two hands and however much food you can shove in your mouth.
Yeah.
But it's like a whole it's a whole celebration, a whole experience. It's communal in every sense of the word, right? Especially the way that we do ours, because you're sitting with strangers.
Yeah.
You don't know the people that are next to you, and I think it's something that everyone's been missing since the shutdown.
Yeah.
That connection.
1000%. Yeah.
So
There's something really grounding about the like no utensils, like the by hand, and that the fact that you're that Bahay means home. It's just like, it's almost like how they tell you it's really healthy for your spirit to like put your bare feet on the ground.
Yeah.
Like your hands with strangers touching food, like there's no like separation, like how grounding, how connecting. And we're talking about food.
And good food.
Do you feel like the environment that y'all create in those dinners, like what does it feel like? Are y'all so proud of those moments?
Absolutely.
Like, explain kind of that being in that moment.
We hope that every dinner, like, we hope that the magic happens every night. And by what I mean by that is like, we hope that there are connections that are happening. We try our best to like curate that environment for you guys, and just to like watch it happen live is like really rewarding.
I can imagine. Yeah.
We talk a lot about like our why. It's from this guy Simon Sinek. He talks like your what, your how, but your why, and how a lot of people start with the what and then they figure out how to do it, and then they're like, this is why I do it. But like starting backwards, when you're talking about the magic, like why at the very, very core, deep down are you doing this?
For Filipino representation.
I love
That's
it.
been our MO since we started.
It's like a mix of educating people that may have never had Filipino food before and sharing our culture in that way, in a very comfortable way to us. Because if you go into any Filipino's home, they're immediately going to try to feed you. That's their way of like showing love, right? That's our love language. And then on top of that, it's providing a piece of home for displaced Filipinos all over DFW, that may not have that connection anymore with home, or like for me, I don't cook, I just eat. So meeting Sarah and Denise has been a dream come true, because I get to eat all of the foods that I grew up with that make me feel connected to, the larger community.
Well, and so there is that kind of Filipino fast food restaurant that just opened in DFW. Jollibee's. And it opened up, I was telling Sarah Vernola, right behind my parents' house. So like every time I would take their exit.
Oh, that's awesome.
No, but the line, when they opened, the line was, I'm not kidding, it's still, it's out to the highway.
They needed cops to direct traffic.
Yes.
Those are all the Filipinos coming.
And that's what I was going to say.
In DFW.
The Filipino community in Dallas wants their food here. You know what I mean?
They done woke up.
And so I think there is definitely that need that you're meeting, because yes, that's Jollibee's is fast food and probably really comforting to people, but then y'all's is the whole like home style kind of cooking of Filipino food, and it's just, I think like the sky's the limit with it.
And so where
what's the goal? Yeah.
do you think, where are you headed?
We want to
What's
know.
the next
Tell us all your
dream?
secrets.
It's been evolving.
We let the dream evolve.
Good. Man, we all need
love
to
that.
do that.
I think eventually we see ourselves moving into like catering / kamayans is where we want to be. So not necessarily a full restaurant or a full cafe, but more like we have a kitchen of our own where we're pumping out, catering orders for the people.
For the people.
For us.
But then, the space also has, a table for Kamayan dinners.
Nice.
And maybe that's
That's
Thursday,
awesome.
Friday, Saturday, or, when we feel the need to have them, or I don't know what it looks like yet. But the Kamayans, I think, are our main goal.
Yeah.
But maybe catering is what funds the goal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's where we're at right now, but it's subject to change.
I love that you're being flexible with it, though. You know,
we have to. That's how we've.
That's how we
made it
stayed
work.
alive this whole time. Yeah.
Well, yeah, especially through the
pivot.
pandemic.
Pivot every time. So
I love it.
Because I was just thinking, if y'all did open a restaurant at some point, like there's some sort of magic that's happening with these dinners, you know, that comes along with that pop-up sense almost. Like we're in a new place with new people, and then like we bring the magic with this food and community. Like it would, like you can't lose that.
Right.
You know?
yeah.
And we don't really want to be open every day, a slave to the kitchen or the restaurant. We want, what's great about Bahay is we're able to be flexible with it as it flexes with our lives outside of it. So
Dallas also feels like super saturated with there's a new restaurant opening every week or closing every week. So we don't want to be lost in that mix. So
and it's kind of like a lot of overhead to have all of that to run a restaurant. And what y'all are doing is just giving these experiences that people can tap into. And it's really, I think it's so smart. It really is.
we're
I love it.
trying to make it happen, man. Even if we just touch one person through a pop-up or like show them a different type of food, then I think we are successful in that way. You know, even if this is all that it ends up being, I think we've done a lot for Filipinos in DFW already.
And Filipino food in general. I think we're on the brink of it having its time to shine. I think the Kasama Filipino restaurant in Chicago just was its first Michelin star.
Oh
So
my
it's the first
God.
Filipino restaurant to get a Michelin star. So it's like it's finally happening.
Yeah.
It's definitely, the Filipino food movement is happening on the coasts. It's happening in like those bigger cities. And Dallas is the last, I feel like, to truly embrace it.
Yeah.
But we're taking over.
We're trying, we're trying.
And y'all are at the forefront of it. It's so awesome.
We're pushing hard.
And like your experience in the industry and yours, because your service industry all the way with working at the Hotel Jewel and I'm sure other places with that. What are things that you've kind of picked up along the way in those service jobs that you really try to make sure like it's part of your DNA in this project?
We talk about it all the time, what we learned not to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, I'm sure.
How we've been treated in the industry as females, as people of color, like there's a vast difference. And we definitely, when we operate, we don't want that toxicity or any of those other things.
Yeah. And then as far as like what a Kamayan is versus our Kamayan, I feel like it's always been my goal to bring the service aspect of like a fine dining restaurant, but have it translate into our Kamayan. So we add steps that kind of make it a little bit more polished than just like coming over to your tita's house and like having dinner. It's a little bit more of an experience than that.
And that's production.
It's a whole production, truly. Yeah, there's hot towel service involved, which
I love that though, because honestly, you're getting to write the story. Like this doesn't exist. It hasn't existed. You're taking pieces of these different parts that you love from your experiences in the industry and your home.
family.
Yeah. Like you get to make, y'all are literally innovators. Like you're being innovative. How does that
proud of you.
I feel so proud.
I'm getting teary-eyed.
no one haven't thought of it
No
that way.
one's put it in that way. And,
It is though.
all three of us work so hard, even, just having jobs outside of Bahay too. Like we hustle so hard. So like for someone to recognize that, it feels really good.
And how do you, speaking of writing it yourself, like how do you make sure that you're like staying aligned to like yourselves and what's important and that why, when there is so much going on and so many outside influences and this is the new cool thing and this is whatever, like how do you guys stay on track to what really matters?
We there's a magic between the three of us too.
I got goosebumps. I just like shook. I got goosebumps.
I love when we have our meetings and like really hash things out. There's so much like respect and grace for each other that I feel like a lot of other teams don't have the luxury of having. So like when talking about staying aligned, we really hash it out all together and like are truthful to each other. If like, this Sarah, that idea sucks. Like,
yeah.
And they're like, okay, cool. Yeah. Like, let's move forward.
Yeah. We have really great open communication, I think, and we are always checking in with each other and just we're always, bringing news clippings we find to each other, or this restaurant's doing this, or this pop-up is doing this, and we have a discussion about it. Yeah. So I think we all three of us trust each other, and we value each other's judgments, right? So we're always just keeping that in mind when we meet, and we try to meet every week, even if we don't have anything planned, just to like keep it consistent and keep that open communication. So I don't know. I think we have done a good job staying in line with what we want because we respect what each of us wants from this, and we try not to stray outside of that. Yeah.
So it's the two of you and Denise.
Yes.
That's the third partner in this. And how did you and Denise met whenever you joined your pop-up?
Right.
Or how did you meet?
You've known her since before Dallas. Oh, since Night Market.
Right. So Denise had her pop-up Balau, and this was before Hello Lumpia.
Okay.
And she popped up at the Asian Night Market that was formerly at the Bomb Factory. I think it's just
now the factory.
Yeah. So I heard about her, and I was super excited because this was the first Filipino pop-up I've heard of in Dallas. So I was like, I gotta go. So I went and checked her out and met her there. And then it sparked in me. I was like, hey, if she can do this, like I can do this too. So that's how Hello Lumpia kind of became to be. And then a few months later, we had the Dallas Filipino Food Festival, March 2020.
No, March 8th.
Oh my goodness.
Right
before.
Shutdown.
You got on the radar.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It was crazy. With thousands of people came.
Yeah. We were told to expect. There were 8 other Filipino food pop-ups. I was working with Hello Lumpia. Denise was with Balau. Ulam was there. Not Your Lolas was there. Marie's Kitchen was there. So there were those were the people that were kind of operating at the time, and as far as Filipino food pop-ups. And we were told to prep
8
for
vendors.
8 vendors
For
at Four Corners Brewery, right?
Oh my goodness.
We were told to prep for 300 people, and thousands of people came that day.
Hello Lumpia.
It was Hello Lumpia. We were making Hello Lumpia.
We were rolling these egg rolls for weeks.
For weeks. And it was insane, the amount of support. People were driving from Houston to come to this festival.
God.
And there was we just weren't ready. We were not just Hello Lumpia, but the whole
thing,
festival weren't ready for that outpouring of support that came
People were
through.
waiting in line for 2 hours.
Yeah.
But they waited.
They waited.
They couldn't, they were like, I'm here for the Filipino food.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
Cool.
And then the world shut down.
Literally the next week it shut down.
You're like, remember that feeling.
We hit our peak, right? So
my God.
after everything, after the dust settled, I was just like, I hit up Denise and I was like, hey, what are you doing? What's up?
Yeah.
You doing anything these days? So that's kind of what sparked hey, let's kind of think of something. Yeah, let's do something.
We want to carry that momentum and that enthusiasm for Filipino food. We didn't want to lose it, even with the pandemic happening, and we weren't doing anything else. So
we're all furloughed. We were like, hey.
And that's how Bahay was born, and Bahay even has so many other layers because it does mean home, and we were all stuck in our homes. That's
so true.
all of it was coming together, and it couldn't have happened any other way, I feel like.
Yeah.
Well, and something that I want to talk about, and this is a good transition, I think, is something so beautiful just even about that story is here's Denise, this other female Filipino businesswoman, and here you are, Sarah, that you've you guys just did this great event and then the world stops. And instead of retreating, you reach out and connect to each other and say, let's do something together, which I think is a very feminine energy that I love about women.
Let them know.
But so let's kind of jump into like being women in business, starting this business, and also women of color in this industry. Can you kind of talk about your experience with that, like in the industry and what you're trying to do with yours?
Yeah, I think we worked just as hard, if not harder. Like I feel like we have to hustle even more.
Yeah.
And protect ourselves, I think. And we find maybe we haven't been successful personally on our own, but together I find safety and comfort there where I don't know that I would be able to do it on my own, right? I know that I have what it takes to push myself, but realistically, could I be successful on my own? I don't know.
Right.
And having Denise and Sarah make me feel unstoppable.
Yeah.
we pull from each
love
other's
that.
strengths.
Yeah.
Like that's what feeds Bahay, honestly.
Yeah.
Like Paloma is such a force on her own.
Yeah.
She like, my gosh, like you guys don't even know the connections this girl has and the like the power that she's able
I'm
to.
picking up on what her mojo.
I'm saying.
Like, I'm smelling what you're stepping in about Paloma over here.
She's definitely our superpower for sure. And then Denise is also a gem of a human.
We were just talking about her on the way. I love her so much.
I wish she could be here.
I know, I wish she could
But she's
too.
prepping
y'all
for their
have dinner
sold-out
tonight.
dinner.
She's the backbone of this whole business.
She's keeping it alive. She's like, y'all do that podcast thingy.
I'll be here rolling.
But yeah, I think that, we say all the time is the magic of Bahay. Like that's, it takes the three of us to make her her.
Yeah.
And I feel like also because we're a team, like we're always pushing each other's agendas. Whereas if we were on a team, like I said, on our own, sometimes those teammates don't want to lift up our voices for whatever reason, whether it's because we're a woman of color or what have you, but we're in our group, none of us are the minority.
Yeah.
So we can always just push either one of our voices up and it's already aligned with what we want to say.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah. So it's been comforting for me and a connection to being Filipino that I never really had until I found Bahay and Hela Lumpia. So it's important.
Yeah. We found each other and we were like, not letting go.
Once we
You're with me
realized the universe had
forever.
tried
When you do,
previously, we
yeah.
were like, all right, this is a thing.
We hear you.
We hear you.
It sounds like you guys have forged like true like best friendships out of this.
Sisterhood.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
We know what that's like.
Wifeys.
Yes.
We
I
do.
love it. And there is something about like what y'all are saying that I think we can relate to, just like that full trust in knowing each of you want what's best for each other and the thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
So the criticism is coming from a really good place and there's no, like you're never on the offense
Yeah, we're taking
or the
personally or
defense.
anything.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you know they want what's best too. And I can tell like even just, I know Denise isn't here, but y'all's energy together, like you really... You're trying to lift
We're
up
always
Filipino.
cackling. Like that's our energy.
Cackle energy?
Cackling.
You're a cackle.
True Tita energy right there.
We have we take an hour to get the giggles out and then we have our meeting. Like
We have a why behind the podcast because they're called Dear Friend Podcast. And it's this Young Pueblo quote that talks about sometimes an honest conversation with a dear friend is just the nourishment you need to get up, regain your clarity and your energy, and to go back out with your
into the world.
with your mission. And it's like there's magic there. And so
that's love right there.
Yeah.
Heard
like
that.
if you can be real with your friend, your person, and they take that, that's like, hey, like I love you.
yeah. Well, and it starts close in, It starts with yourself
Intentions
and then your closest people that you found that the universe has given you and you to hold on to them, I'll get choked up. Yeah. And then you go out and you have a little bit bigger circle with your dinner, and then that is an even, because then they feel it.
The ripple
and
from
then
y'all's,
they go out, and it's like
out there, girl. It's beautiful.
And it also makes me think of this quote that we love about what is your calling, and it's Frederick Buechner, and it says, "Your calling is when the world's great need meets your great gladness."
Oh, that's so beautiful.
And you guys talking about what you see and what you feel at those dinners and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like you found it.
Yeah, it's a sweet spot. What are y'all hearing from people, and specifically like the Filipino community, from what y'all are doing? Like, what's the feedback been like?
I've heard that people say there's nothing like this.
Oh,
there's
yeah.
nothing like this.
There isn't.
And that is so special to me, because I feel like it's hard to find authenticity sometimes.
Yes.
In
Everything.
Yes. A resounding.
No, I'm sorry, but it is. It's down to be it can be reductive, repetitive. This feels so fresh and different. Like, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you.
No, that's it.
Yeah.
We feel part of our what fuels us, our energy, our why. As you stated, it's like, I think that's why the universe has blessed us so much in our journey, because we are true to ourselves, and it starts small, like you said, with us, and it's been growing, and the ripple effect has blessed us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
People want to work with us. People want to see us succeed, and it's only because we've been true to ourselves and tried to be as inclusive, educational, collaborative with this wonderful community. Right? We're part of the Filipino community, but we're also a part of the foodie community. We're also a part of, there's so many different communities that want to see us succeed, and we're trying to be humble and give back what we can, as much as we can, right?
That's all we try to do, is just, like share our stories and just give back. Every success that's come our way, we're so humbled when, like, D Magazine reaches out, or whoever, Star Chefs that happened this past December, like that all happened because it's not because we, were trying too hard, but it was just like, it just happened naturally for us. So.
Well, and when you were interviewed, you're lifting up other female business owners when you're getting interviewed about your stuff. Like, it's just, it feels very, like, you do feel, you come across humble, and you also come across as, like, genuinely trying to lift up other women in business too.
Yeah. I think it also comes to, like, we want to be those people who we needed when we started. So if we can help lift someone's voices, like, that's what we'll try to do while we have this platform.
I just adore that.
It's important. What you're doing is important.
You're
so
good people.
What if we, someone, a listener.
Thank God you thought I had a really boring white girl name, and you said something.
I did not say boring. The whitest.
The whitest. White girl equals boring. I'm kidding.
Okay.
But what I was going to say is, if our listeners or us, we want to come to a dinner,
how often are y'all doing them?
We are doing our best to pull a dinner off monthly. So
do you choose the locations yourself, or do people reach out? Can people throw them, like, hire you to throw them at their own?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
Yes. The struggle right now has been trying to find, like, our own place to host them. So we are at the mercy and the grace of all the other businesses around us.
Are partnering with us. Yeah.
We've been so lucky and fortunate to have great friends that want us in their space, and like I said, they want to see us succeed.
Yeah.
So we're open, but absolutely we can customize kamayans to you. If you have a space, you have a kitchen we can use, we can show up in your home and do a full kamayan.
Have your own private kamayan at your home.
But we are trying to sell tickets for our own once a month. it's just finding a space that is tricky. So we fly by the seat of our pants pretty much every month.
But that's what she keeps saying. I don't know if you're hearing the word stretchy.
Yeah.
Because it's this, it was from a Brene Brown interview with Sun and Shine.
Yeah, Dr. Sun and Shine.
And he talks about when you don't have all the answers, all the resources, you're forced to be stretchy. Whereas when you have everything you need,
You're chasey.
Yeah.
Because you have it all. So it's just like, oh, people are doing this. Okay, let me chase that. I got to get this. But stretchy is like, I have none of
What
these
am I gonna do?
resources. What am I going to do? I got to get creative.
Yeah.
And so there will come a time when you start to have these resources and you have everything you need, and then it's scary because you'll look back and be like, man, but where'd my creativity go?
Right.
Yeah.
You know? And you guys right now, you're in a sweet, stretchy spot. Like
It's sweet. And
we feel
stressful
stretched.
Yes.
sometimes.
We feel very stretched.
stretch.
She's like, we're stretched to the max.
Yeah, everyone.
Stretch Armstrong.
We sold out this last Kamayan, and a bunch of people were like, dang, like we didn't get in.
Yeah.
When's the next
Yeah,
one?
I wanna
And
tell
we're
you
like,
that-
we will let
that's
you
us.
know.
TBD. TBD.
It's been us every time. We're like,
Freaking one I wanted to go at the Jettison.
I know. That's the one we really wanted to go to.
Oh man.
But so you guys mostly are active on social media, like Instagram, or where are you the most active? Like, where's the best source for information for people?
I think
Instagram.
right now is Instagram.
Which
for sure.
is, we're going to put it on our stuff, but is it
At Bahay Dallas.
okay, and Bahay is Bahay.
Very good, lady.
Oh, we've done the research. 100%. Yeah, so Haley and I, we love you guys and what you're doing. We have been dreaming about doing a lot of,
She's about to say something.
yeah.
She's about to say
I know.
on this
I know.
podcast,
I'm
she's
bracing
giving
myself for this.
She's giving a secret
My
out.
heart is racing a little bit.
We have dreams for our podcast and doing like live events, but not how people do podcast live events. We want them to be way more intimate and like dinner style. And I think this might be something really
That's
special.
happening.
Partnership has been born.
Evil genius.
More to come.
But thank you so much for taking time. I know you guys have the dinner tonight, but I'm so glad it worked out because y'all are just incredible. What you're doing is so special, so important. The way you're doing it is so thoughtful and meaningful, and you should be
So proud.
Oh my gosh.
Bahay.
Thank you guys so much for having us.
Oh, thank you.
This is awesome.
That was really fun. To me, this was a great conversation. Like I needed it. I feel inspired
know.
and I want to throw up.
And that's what we're talking about with the young Pueblo quote. Like every time it surprises us because we're like, this is a random ass topic, and then we're like, oh, but
Just what
when
I
you
needed.
have a meaningful conversation where you drop down and you connect, now we all feel different.
We could go for
Look
another
at Will.
hour.
You can do anything right now.
Oh my goodness.
How do you feel, Amanda Page Walker?
Inspired.
I'm not surprised.
I'm proud of them.
I am too.
I literally have so much pride. Like the things they're accomplishing, the way that they're going about it, the way they're treating other people in the industry around what they're doing, it's so that ripple effect, like beyond themselves. It's beautiful, it's special, it's unique, it's everything I want to be and more.
And I know they were saying, like, we're really stressed right now because we don't know what we're doing. And I just hope they felt the encouragement because I think, like you were saying, they're in such a sweet spot right now where they're getting some traction. People love them, but like it's still kind of wide open. Like they don't have all the answers, but that also presents a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't wait.
Their recognition's been pretty good. So
Yes.
they've been featured in D Magazine, which is a big deal.
Yes. The Observer and Star Chefs. Come on with it.
I know. They're really making waves. And I think it's so cool, like what they were saying about Filipino food kind of being underrepresented in such a large city as DFW. I love that they are making waves with their culture and what they're passionate about.
And I love that the three of them have such different gifts and they as women have come together and just been like a bond. And it's exploding because they're working together and keeping each other aligned
and accountable. It's really special. And we're so glad that you guys listened in on this conversation. We love having conversations with people who are out there in the world doing stuff that they love and doing it in a way where they are having that good ripple effect out into the world. And so that was a really great conversation to be a part of. And I hope as you were listening, like it was encouraging for you too, and whatever you're doing, whether it's your own business or you're working for someone else, how you approach your work and how you treat others is so important.
It is.
And
if you guys as listeners know someone that you think would be a great guest on this podcast because they are doing something that they care about and they're causing this ripple effect, we would love to hear your ideas because, we only can reach who we can reach.
Right.
So,
and if this was an episode that really inspired you, shoot it over to your friend who needs some inspiration.
Yeah.
We want to be, growing by word of mouth. And so if this was a episode that really spoke to you, make sure you share it with the people that you think would enjoy the inspiration and encouragement.
And don't forget that you can watch us and see these two other girls we had on today on YouTube.
Because they cute.
Yeah, they're cute.
And we're kind of switching gears. This is the first episode where we're kind of switching gears to a 1 hour
episode
format. Yeah. So we've been doing 30-minute episodes every Monday. They're being released. And we decided we kind of wanted to shift gears so that we could dig in a little deeper each episode. So for instance, this is the first time we've done that in this new season where we did an hour episode, and it was to be able to have that deeper conversation, to not feel so rushed. Those 30-minute episodes, I felt like we were cramming everything in, talking really fast like this.
Yep.
And we got to kind of calm down, settle into the conversation. And so what we're going to be doing moving forward is every other Monday, so not every week, every other Monday, we will be putting out an hour episode that we can kind of settle into
and marinate on for 2 weeks.
And we have a pretty great archive of like 84 episodes. So you can always go back and dig into past episodes during the off week. But we just want to make sure that we're giving the best content that is the most helpful and meaningful. And we felt like we should try it this way. So we're all learning. We appreciate you being on the journey with us.
Stretchy and flexible with us.
So the next episode won't be out next Monday, but the next Monday. And guys, we have some really great episodes coming up, some great guests lined up. We're so excited about this podcast, what we're accomplishing. We're very proud of it, but also the feedback we get from people around this podcast is the whole reason why we do it. We hope we're adding to your lives and how you are approaching your situations in your lives.
And we have some new, fun, creative stuff that may be showing up on our social media. So if you're not following us, it's dearfriend.podcast. We may be having some new imagery coming out, and also we're doing some fun stuff in our personal lives that we want to share with you guys. So
follow along.
Stay tuned if you want to.
We want to thank Foreground Studio, where we record. Will Flato, tip of the hat. He's the engineer behind the podcast for video and audio. We thank him for what he does. We love being a part of Foreground. You can follow them at Foreground on Instagram.
And the music that you hear at the beginning and end of the podcast is from our band, Sister. And you can follow us and get any information you might want at sistertheband.com.
Thank you guys for listening. Have a great week. And until next time,
Bahay.
I was going to say live
party.